Over thousands of research papers has now made it clear that this method I'm about to share with you is the easiest and most effective way to lose fat. And the good thing is, everyone can do it. This fat loss method I'm referring to is fasting. To be specific, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern where you cycle between periods of eating and fasting. This thing called intermittent fasting has been used by over millions of people to lose body weight in less time than expected. But the truth is, it has other amazing benefits apart from helping people lose weight and gain their confidence back. Research suggests that intermittent fasting can lead to improvements in various markers of metabolic health, such as insulin sensitivity, blood sugar levels, and cholesterol levels, ultimately leading to huge reduction in the risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. This used to be an ongoing research, but now there are science studies to prove that intermittent fasting will extend your lifespan by triggering cellular repair processes, increasing production of antioxidants, and promoting autophagy, a process where cells remove damaged components. These mechanisms help to protect against age-related diseases, leading to a long, healthy life. And also, at least 99% of people who have ever tried intermittent fasting have reported experiencing godlike levels of focus, a complete mental clarity, plus they have also reported to have been able to maintain a positive mood throughout their entire period of trying it. And there is a great deal of scientific data to prove this too. Intermittent fasting has roots in ancient practices dating back thousands of years, with evidence of its use across various cultures and civilizations. While it has deep historical roots, research into the metabolic effects of fasting gained momentum in the early 20th century. Pioneering studies by scientists like Dr. Max Wisnowski in the 1950s explored the relationship between calorie restriction and weight loss. Now, before we dive deep into how you can actually leverage intermittent fasting for weight loss, let's first address the one big belief that prevents 99% of people from actually starting intermittent fasting in the first place. Most people actually believe intermittent fasting is difficult without even trying it. They believe only mentally strong people fast. This is obviously false. The reason why people make such objections is simply because they believe fasting leads to endless and unmanageable feelings of hunger. Contrary to common belief, fasting can lead to reduced feelings of hunger and increased satiety due to changes in hunger hormones. This basically means the human body is naturally designed to make adjustments to drastically reduce how much hunger we experience when fasting. Here's the science behind it. There's a hormone popularly referred to as the hunger hormone, or ghrelin. This hormone plays a pivotal role in stimulating appetite and food intake. Interestingly, ghrelin levels typically decrease during fasting periods. This decrease in ghrelin secretion leads to decreased feelings of hunger, helping individuals navigate fasting periods more comfortably. For example, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that fasting for 24 hours resulted in a significant reduction in ghrelin levels, leading to decreased feelings of hunger. So now it's 100% clear that fasting doesn't make you feel hungry. If anything, your body is designed to adjust and reduce those feelings of hunger within days of starting your fasting routine. So now that you know that you can actually fast without the fear of hunger, how do you do it? Where do you start? Or why does it even work in the first place? Here's what actually happens. When we eat, especially foods high in carbohydrates, our body releases insulin to help regulate blood sugar levels and store excess glucose from the carbohydrates as fat. During fasting periods, insulin levels drop, which allows our body to access stored fat for energy. This process is crucial for fat loss because it promotes the breakdown of fat cells, leading to a reduction in overall body fat. What does this really mean? This means when you fast, your body taps into the stored fat you have in your body and starts eating it up for energy. This is what people mean when they say something like burn body fat without exercising. The study published in the Journal of Translational Medicine in 2016 aimed to investigate the effects of intermittent fasting on insulin sensitivity, insulin levels, fat oxidation, and weight loss in participants. The researchers conducted a randomized controlled trial involving a group of participants who followed an intermittent fasting regimen and a control group who maintained their regular eating habits. The study included a diverse group of individuals with varying degrees of overweight. The intermittent fasting group followed a specific fasting protocol, which typically involved alternating between periods of fasting and eating. The fasting periods varied in duration and frequency depending on the specific protocol used. Throughout the study period, various metabolic parameters were assessed, including insulin levels. They found that participants who did intermittent fasting had a drastic reduction in insulin levels. Lower insulin levels during fasting periods indicate decreased insulin secretion by the pancreas, which can help facilitate fat burning and weight loss. This reduction in insulin levels directly contributes to metabolic benefits such as increased fat oxidation and improved metabolic flexibility. Fat oxidation refers to the process by which fatty acids are broken down and converted into energy. Higher rates of fat oxidation indicate a greater reliance on fat as a fuel source, which can lead to greater fat loss over time. When you fast, your body not only starts burning fat as energy, but at 3x that process by restricting calorie intake. This calorie restriction is known as caloric deficit, which occurs when the number of calories consumed is lower than the number of calories burnt by the body. This caloric deficit signals the body to speed up the reliance on stored fat to meet its energy demands. Numerous studies have demonstrated the efficiency of calorie restriction, both alone and in combination with fasting, for promoting fat loss and improving metabolic health. Now that you're aware of the science behind how fasting works to make you lose fat without ever exercising, how do you actually do it? Because there are two types of fasting you can try. One is the normal intermittent fasting we are all aware of. This method involves alternating between periods of eating and fasting, which you're already aware of. The most common and easiest among the normal intermittent fasting that anyone can try is the 16/8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window each day. For example, some of you might not feel hungry in the early morning. So if you are such a person, you might skip breakfast and start eating around noon at 12 p.m., then finish your last meal by 8 p.m. Or, if you're the type that feels severe hunger in the early part of the day, finish your breakfast by 10 a.m. This means you would have your last meal by 6 p.m., allowing for a full 16-hour fasting period from the time you sleep until 10 a.m. the next day. Another approach is the 5:2 method, where you eat normally for 5 days a week and consume very few calories, around 500, 600 on the other 2 non-consecutive days. For example, let's say your 2 non-consecutive days are Mondays and Thursdays. So on Monday, you might eat 3 balanced meals, with your breakfast being something like scrambled eggs with spinach and tomatoes, whole grain toast, and a side of fruit. For your lunch, you can have grilled chicken salad with mixed greens, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, avocado, and balsamic vinaigrette dressing. For dinner, baked salmon with quinoa and steamed broccoli, served with a side of roasted sweet potatoes. I know some of you are probably thinking to yourselves, what if I don't get access to these exact types of food? What should I do? The thing is, all those foods I've just mentioned are just examples of a way broader food type, like lean proteins, with examples including eggs, chicken, salmon, and Greek yogurt. Healthy fats, with examples such as avocado, olive oil, and fatty fish, like salmon. Fiber-rich foods like whole grains like brown rice, plus vegetables like lentils, spinach, tomatoes, and broccoli. Examples of complex carbohydrates are oats, millet, and quinoa. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition in 2018 investigated the effects of macronutrient composition on appetite regulation and food intake in overweight and obese adults. The researchers found that meals higher in protein and fiber led to increased feelings of fullness and reduced subsequent food intake compared to meals higher in carbohydrates. This suggests that including protein and fiber-rich foods in meals can indeed promote satiety. This supports your fat loss goals by helping you control your appetite and reduce overall calorie intake. While on Thursday, your second non-consecutive day, you might have a small breakfast and dinner consisting of lean protein and vegetables, staying within the calorie limit. This intermittent fasting approach allows for flexibility in meal planning while still promoting fat loss. The second type of fasting is extended fasting. This type of fasting involves abstaining from food for longer periods, typically 24 hours or more. This could mean fasting for a full day or even multiple days in a row. You might choose to practice extended fasting by abstaining from food for a full 24 hours, starting from dinner one day and not eating until dinner the next day. During this time, you would consume only water, herbal tea, or other non-caloric beverages to support hydration and help manage hunger. Now, if you're thinking, wouldn't tea or water break my fast? The answer is no, they wouldn't. This is because they are calorie-free and do not stimulate insulin secretion, allowing you to remain in a fasted state. This means they won't interrupt the metabolic processes associated with fasting, such as ketosis and autophagy, which are key mechanisms for fat loss and cellular repair. So when fasting, it's extremely crucial for you to remember that you can actually drink water and black tea without breaking your fast. This will benefit you a lot.